Vita services and all of the local free tax sites shut down, everybody knows, in mid-March. Well, Community Action started a virtual Vita, and we reopened in June. Now, the virtual model was designed to protect the health and safety of taxpayers, volunteers, and our staff. When the public health emergency is lifted and our organization returns, it is, whenever they determine that it is safe, we plan to increase our services at our site with an additional social distancing and an on-site volunteers. We will go from a virtual model to what they call a drop-off model, where they will be able to drop paperwork off at the office. We will still not see the clients on a one-on-one, but they will have that option that they can drop off the paperwork. Now, as everybody knows, that we are a year-round site, so we will be preparing taxes all the way through October the 31st, 2021. Now, our tax year that we're going to, actually, we're only going to be doing that between January and April. We're only going to be doing the current year, which will be taxes for 2020. Now, when we start back in our off season, and the off season goes from June to October, that's what we will be doing. We'll do 2018, 19, and 2020 taxes. Now, the virtual steps, we've tried to break them out to give you an idea what it's going to be like. Vita will email or mail the taxpayer the required forms which describe the process. The taxpayer must complete and sign the forms to show that they understand and approve the virtual process. After Vita receives and reviews the forms, a certified volunteer will call the taxpayer on the phone and provide them with a link. Each tax, they have a link, and each taxpayer they'll get a code because they're going to meet us on Zoom. The purpose of coming on Zoom so we can verify their identity. At that point, we will very briefly look at their ID and their social security card. We'll have, because we need to make sure that we're doing the taxes for the right person. So we have to have that verification step in there. Now, once on Zoom, the taxpayer will call them and we'll give them information. They'll meet us on Zoom where we talked about that, where they get access. Now, if they're married, the spouse has to be there also at the same time when we look at those identifications. If they do have dependents, they will have to show us the social security cards for all of their dependents. All right. Now, when the taxpayer, when they do come into Zoom, we have these little added steps, and we'll talk about them more in detail later, but they're placed in a waiting room. We let them in, and then we shut it down for security purposes so that no one else can enter during that time. That call only takes us maybe like, what we say, Eddie, about 10 minutes? Yeah. Actually about 10 minutes, because we've already initially talked to them on the phone to explain the process to them. Now, the taxpayers will then send to us their required documents. And what we'll do is, a lot of times we will send them an email ahead of time, an encrypted email. They respond back to that email so that their documents are encrypted when they come back to us as another added protection, all right? Each taxpayer has a taxpayer identification number. That taxpayer is given, they have their number. Whoever the preparer is will have that same number. So if the preparer needs to contact the taxpayer, they'll have to give them the number, and then they'll know that, that they can be, free to give them any information they may need. All right. Now, after the return is completed, we do a quality review, which is done by another certified volunteer. All right, and they do have the quality review. Now, the quality review can be done either over the telephone or it can be done on Zoom. It's up to the client how they want it done. Now, if the taxpayer is satisfied with the return, they must send an email to Vita that has their name in the body of the email, telling us that they give us permission to e-file their return. All right. All right, the volunteer responsibilities are all the same. We're going to follow the quality site requirements, the QSR. We do not accept payment, solicit donations, or accept refund payments for federal or state tax return preparation, not solicit business from taxpayers you assist or use the knowledge you gain, that's their information, about them for any direct or indirect personal benefits for you or any other specific individual, not knowingly prepare false returns, not engage in criminal, infamous, dishonest, notoriously disgraceful conduct, or any other conduct deemed to have a negative effect on the Vita TCE program. And we will treat all taxpayers in a professional, courteous, and respectful manner. All right, there's Eddie.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. So some of you have already started. Some of you already sent me your forms. Thank you. Once again, it's one thing I've been reminding guys, and I'll probably do 100 times so you guys get tired of it. But this is the place that you have to go to log in and to get your certification. Okay. Once again, you have to get 80% or more. You only have 2 tries. In case you're unable to get the second try, please contact us. We talk about your third try, but it should be 2 tries for everybody. Okay. Go to the next slide. Right. Once again, please use the practice lab when you're doing the exam. All the answers are in the practice lab. Once again, the password's up here, Training Pro Web. Please use the practice lab when you're doing the scenarios. The password, once again, is Training Pro Web. Okay. If you have requested a laptop, going back again, your laptop kit will be delivered, or you can pick up between December 30th to January 11th at our location. Once again, it does include the laptop. You'll be included your webcam and the headphone as well. Okay. At this moment, very little paperwork because I know I have most information for you guys, but you guys do have to sign this year's since you guys volunteers, paperwork. So in case anything happens to you guys are covered in Montgomery County. The language line, we are still waiting for the training. We are gonna have a training for language line, which is available for all of you guys to assess from January to the end of April. So you can talk to any client for any reason, any question you have, and with any language, okay? And that's free access to us for any clients. Today we're gonna go how long this process is gonna be. Going back again, it's not 1 hour. The people used to come to their sites in an hour, 30 minutes, or even less. They're done. The process now takes a little longer, and that's the reason we have in this session for today. We're gonna go a little more into detail about how it is with the virtual Vita, the process, and mostly the intake process and the QR process as well. Ms. Johnson. I think you're mute, Ms. Johnson.
All right. This is the overview for the virtual program. In this model, the taxpayer is emailed or scanned forms, and that is the intake form, the 13614C, and there's also a form that's a 14446. That is the form that gives us permission to prepare their taxes with the virtual model. So those are the 2 required forms that we have to have from them. They will send the completed forms back to our office by scanning or emailing them with their handwritten signature, an electronic or an email acknowledgement of the form. If the taxpayer is unable to print out the form and complete it, we advise them to go to the irs.gov, pull up the 2 forms, the form 13614C and the form 14446. They are both fillable forms. They can complete the forms, save it to their computer or smartphone, and then send it to us as an attachment. If acknowledging via email, the taxpayer or representatives must include a statement either in an attached cover letter or within the body of the email stating the name of the document includes that form, say the form 13614C, all right, includes the name of the taxpayer. That's they'll put, John, you put your name there, right? You have your signature, and the taxpayer intends to transmit the attached document to the IRS. The choice to transmit documents electronically to the partner site is solely that of the taxpayer. So if they don't want us to transmit it, then we won't transmit, but we won't be able to electronically send their paperwork at all. All right. Now, the county has supplied us with a virtual private network, a VPN. When Eddie prepares all the laptops for you, they will make sure that that is on there. But there's a requirement. You will have to have a county email, and you will have to, you'll have to have this county email. So the young lady, our office manager, is going to be doing that for everyone. So as soon as you have certified, we'll need to get your information from you so that can be done. And that's so you can be sure to get that VPN, all right, that private network. Now that gives us online privacy and anonymity, as I say that right, y'all, don't, by creating a private network from a public internet connection. The VPN services establish secure and encrypted connections to provide greater privacy than even a secured Wi-Fi hotspot. Before the taxpayer returns their documents to us, we send an encrypted email and ask them to respond to it so that their documents are sent to us encrypted. So I've said that twice because it's kind of important. We try to give them as much security as we can possibly give them with this process. This is all new. Now, this is just a flow chart. You can look over it. The same steps that we've talked about. It just goes over, what the virtual process is, how we do the telephone, send the documents, receive the documents. We meet on Zoom. We upload the documents into TaxSlayer. That's where Eddie was telling you we have that capability, but it's only there for 14 days. The return is assigned to a preparer. Once it's completed, our quality review is done. We'll meet by telephone or Zoom to talk about the quality review, to go over it with the client. They're either going to sign the Form 8879 or the EL 101, or they can give us the message in an email with their name in it, telling us that they approve it and that it's all right for us to electronically send it. All right. Now, at that point, we will transmit the return. If it's accepted, we'll notify the taxpayer that they have an approved return and it's been accepted. If it's rejected, then it's up to us that we have to clarify or, to fix whatever it was. We have 72 hours to fix that rejection. All right. And then we will resubmit it for, to be e-filed one more time. All right. Now, our appointments are made through Appointment Plus. When a client will call in, because we have to give statistics for all of our sites, even though this is virtual, a client will still be able to identify whether it's Gaithersburg, Tacoma Park, the Test Center, Silver Spring area, Rockville, or Wheaton. That's because Eddie has to do these statistical reports. And it's much easier for us if we keep all of the sites. But so they'll say they want Rockville. We will give them an appointment, and here's what our Appointment Plus looks like. They have an appointment scheduled here. We contact them first, and we talk to them, and we tell them about how the virtual process works. we'll tell them about the Zoom meeting, and then we will set up the Zoom meeting. Sometimes it's right away, depending on the time, but we have the Zoom meeting. That's where we will do the identification. All right. When a taxpayer calls in to schedule an appointment, I've already covered this actually. We will inform them that we are a virtual site and the procedures. Our number for the Vita line to schedule an appointment is 240-777-1123. The taxpayer then will be emailed or scanned the forms, the 13614C and the 14446 forms. All right, they will scan those and send them back to our office with the signatures on them, or either some kind of email telling us that, you know, that they have they approve them. If acknowledging via email, well, the taxpayer or the representative must include a statement either in an attached cover letter or within the body of the email, stating that it's all right, that they approve it, and it's all right for us to accept those documents. All right. All right, Eddie.
All right.
Uh-huh.
So this is the form 13614C. Several of you already know by heart. This is the form that anyone, for us to do it, we must have that form. So here's one thing that we are very adamant doing intake or doing taxes. We will not start nobody's taxes till those forms are received or in the system. Okay. Even if somebody from that is in the system. And one thing I have talked about, and that's really great about our program, you know, the cloud program about TaxSlayer, is if there's somebody that been to one of the Vita sites in the past, or somebody that's been to our site in the past, once their social security number is entered, all the information from last year is auto-populated, which, you know, would save time, but we also got to double check if they still live in the same place, which is, you know, first name, last name, all right, from part one. And as always, please, we always use the first name and last name, what's on the social security card, not on their driver license. So many people will be pressed and they swear to God that we don't know what we're doing, because we should use the name on their driver license, not on their social security, but their social security name is the one in the database. That's the name we did it. We do need telephone number, okay? The main thing is people sometimes put a work number or some bogus number. We always inform them, listen, if there's any problem whatsoever, we need to contact you. Okay, so please always make sure the telephone number is in there. All right, same thing, their first name and last name if their spouse, then and their spouse. Okay, address, we need their mailing address. Some people put sometimes, as you guys know, on when you do the federal taxes, they're okay if you have a PO box number, but for when you do state taxes for Maryland, Maryland wants to know your physical address, especially if you're doing the 502 form. Maryland wants to know where you live. So somebody that always put the PO box number. When we do the state taxes, Maryland, on the form for the 502, it says stops. We need your physical address that you live in the state of Maryland for you to do this taxes. So that's always telling them, it's like, can you give us your physical address? You know, even if they give the PO box, I always remind them, it's like, listen, when we start doing your 502 taxes, the state's gonna ask you, not ask, but request that you give your mailing address here in the state of Maryland. Okay. These main questions here, as you guys see in the end, on part one for line 1 and 2, ask about the citizenship. Are you a U.S. citizen or not? Some of the clientele gets nervous about it. We know the immigration. We're not big of it. They can ask yes or no, and when we do the ITC or income tax credit, that comes play of it. But you guys mostly know the policy is part of it. Okay. Date of birth. We do need the date of birth. Okay. Number 4. Some countries, we put, for example, I was born in South America, so we put the we put the date, the month, the year. And some people have a mix. I know some parts in Asia and the Middle East, the same thing I want, but we want to make sure it's the month, the date, and the year. So make sure about that. Job title, if somebody's comfortable putting the job title, that's fine. But if you want to put it, or if somebody don't want to put it, that's fine. If they want to put NA. Number 6, that's a good question. Okay. Last year, were you totally and permanently disabled? Yes or no? Were you disabled on the federal guidelines, on the SSA guidelines? Were you totally permanently disabled? Not disabled that, your back hurts a little bit or you don't feel well, but really truly disabled on the SSA guidelines. And that's what the question that, that's really easy to find out if they receive SSDI, SSI, because a person who's totally permanently disabled is going to say yes under Social Security guidelines, SSA guidelines. I'm permanently turned disabled on the federal government. So, okay, so you probably receive, from this question, you probably will know, like, okay, they receive Social Security SSDI or SSI. And from there, that's another question. You guys may have it. Are they a full-time student? They're legally blind. Number 7 would be for the spouse. Okay, is your spouse date of birth, age, your spouse, job title, and that'll be the same question to them. Right. Number 10, this is the question that can help you guys a lot. Can anyone claim you or your spouse as dependent? Remember, we do have some students and people under who are under the age of 24 who are students that their parents claim them as their dependent when they do the taxes. That's every time when I'm seeing somebody who's way younger than me, I look for that number 10, because that one can definitely help me when we do the tax, even QR, or we go through a number 10, because we always ask them, if you're under the age of 24, are your parents going to declare you as a dependent? Are you their dependent? Because of taxes, once they do their taxes, that would not mess up their taxes, because we see so many situations that a student who's do the taxes saying they're not their parents dependent, they do their taxes and they're getting money back, then all of a sudden the parents a week afterward come and do their taxes and gets rejected because their kid or one of their children said they were not the dependent, and they aren't able to get their income tax credit, they weren't able to get the American Opportunity Credit, and and it's a whole mess, and then we had to fix it. David came in. All right. 11. Have you or your spouse been a victim of tax-related identity theft or being issued a PIN number? I believe now, and I gotta double check that with Ms. Johnson, if she unmute her part. I believe now they can do online. Is that correct, Ms. Johnson? Didn't the policy change it for the IPIN? You might have to unmute because I see you moving.
There is a new policy, and it's much easier for someone to get a PIN this time. Before it was, you had to have certain reasons. Now it's available. Anyone can apply for it.
Yeah, and that's great a way, because before everybody was waiting for letters. I remember there was a year that the letters were messed up and the letters took like extra month, but now you can actually do online. But if somebody does have it and somebody says they're in the system, we need that number, and it's a 5-digit number. We need it to put in on the tax return. The reason is the number is already associated with the Social Security number. So that person that has the IP number with the Social Security number, when we e-file the taxes, it's going to be declined. It's going to be rejected, because that number is kind of protection number for. It's the only way the IRS will accept it. So a lot of clients that do have that, they'll talk about it, and they'll remember. A lot of them remember, and even the ones that forget about it, when we call them when it's rejected, they're like, "Oh yeah, I have a PIN number." So, all right, go right ahead. Number 4, part 2. All right, please. The question is, as that December 31st, that's always one of the main questions. We always have it. Make sure the client single, never married. I don't know why they just put single, but they were never married. They were married. They're divorced, legally separated. and widow. Okay. And from this we can go for the good thing about it. If you see the divorce, it asks when was the date of the final decree. So if somebody says, "Oh, I'm divorced, but the date of my final decree was 2017, and I'm receiving some money, and they have to pay." So we definitely know we're definitely going to put some money, some of that towards the tax return. Um, Legally separated. Okay, that means they're legally separated. Okay. Here's the question. If you look on the married, there's A and B. B asks, did you live with your spouse during any part of the last 6 months of 2020? All right. And remember, we also had the questions about that. Yes or no for the last 6 months. They, they were married, but they live in the same house. They're doing married filing separately, but if they live in the same house, you got to put in the system, okay, because the system asks you. Okay. This also, it's one of the few things that when we get rejected is because the individual didn't told us honestly that they're actually married and they putting single, but their spouse actually did their taxes as married filing separately. And always remind the client, because every time when the other spouse is doing married filing separately, they're gonna put the other spouse name first, last name, social security, date of birth in the system when they e-file the taxes. So it's already in the system. So if they try to do single, it's gonna get rejected because it's already in the system. The other spouse already married filing separately. Okay. Number 2, list the names of people below. Everyone who lived with you last year. This is the way they put the wording in this. It's kind of misleading because it says everyone who lived with you last year. And how many times, not only me, Ms. Johnson, shaking head and see you guys shaking their head, they put the roommates, they put the people, they put the cousins, they put somebody else there. We want to know people who are their dependents. Okay, people are dependents. We see, even people who are single, all of a sudden they put grandpa, grandma, cousin, Uncle James, everybody else there in the household, but they're not the dependents. You're single, because so you don't need to put there. That's what I always tell people. But we do want to make sure your dependents are here. One thing about it too, if you look on line A, it says first name and last name. A lot of because Montgomery County has so many different people, different ethnicity, they put the last name and the first name and the middle name on it. So I always make sure it's the first name and last name on it. So when the QR or you are double checking the names in Social Security, you don't get confused as well. All right. The date of birth, month, date, and year. All right. The relationship to you, son, daughter, parent, what was the relationship? Number of months live in your home last year. And I have picked up so many people that they say they're dependents, but when you start going over this and they put, oh, my dependent was only in my house for 2 months. And I was like, oh, he's college? No, he's 15. He was only home with me 2 months. It's like, oh, then, I don't think I don't think he can be a dependent because he was only there for 2 months, and we'll go over the policy. Whether you're a U.S. citizen or not, whether you're a resident of the United States, meaning were they here in the United States, Canada, or Mexico, whether you're single or married, whether you're a full-time student, they're totally permanent and disabled, okay? And this can be completed by you guys. Is this person qualifying children, yes or no? Did the person provide more than 50? This is the question that you ask them, is this the person qualifying children? Is the person provide more than 50% of her and home support? Did this person have less than 4,300 of income? Did the taxpayers provide more than 50% of the support? Did the taxpayer pay more than half of the cost of maintaining home for the person? Okay. There's situations, and I also want the feedback from Ms. Johnson that parents and kids were sitting there, and the kid made 13,000, and they was like, no, I pay for college, I pay for everything else, but the mom was like, you know what, I'll pay half of your food at my house, and you live in my house, and you got to be my dependent. And the kid was like, well, I don't want to be a dependent. I myself, I step back and let them think about it. I never get in the middle of it. Ms. Johnson's pretty good on it. She'll go over the policy. I just go over, this is the law. You guys decide it. I'm not getting in the middle of this. You guys live in the same household. So, what are your situations being in these situations, Ms. Johnson?
The which one? I'm sorry. I had
About the situations that we have about the student that live in the house with the parent, but the student pays for college, and and maybe he pays for other things in the house, but the parent's like, you live under my house, my roof, and you need 50% of my food, so you are my dependent. And the student's like, no, I'm not your dependent because I take care of my own stuff. So
yeah, we've had a lot of heated conversations between the parent and the student. But if they, but we have to tell them we have to go by the guidelines.
Yep.
And if that student, if they provide over half of their own support, they can't claim them. And then if their income, some of them come in there and they have an income like 12,000, 15,000. And we have to tell them, you can't claim them as a dependent. Their income is too high. So, yeah.
Yeah, always go for the policy. Please do not go as you feel it on your stomach or just go for the policy, please. Because, those arguments going to get heated between the parents. We don't get middle of this. We're just doing the taxes, following the policy. That's it.
Really heated.
I seen ones that the parent was like, you know what, get your stuff and move out. I was like, whoa. So they'll get really heated. Or, it's just because for the parent may be a difference of $1,000 to $2,000, and for the student may be a difference between $500 to $1,000. So it truly depends on it. But like I said, we'll follow the policy. What's the policy? Okay.
Yeah, we've had even one of the scenarios could be that the parent claimed the student, and then the parent's return comes back as a reject because the student has actually done their own taxes and claimed themselves. So we have to now explain to that parent, and they're upset because they said they provided more than half the support. So we have to let them decide what they're going to do, whether the student is right, and whether the student wants to, do an amendment and change theirs or what. But we have to wait for them to decide, and that gets to be heated sometimes, and we don't try to get in the middle of it.
Yeah, we don't get in the middle of it at all. It's just something that we ourselves, we just follow the policy. Please just follow the policy. Let me just send this back to John because I think he logged out. It was.
Okay.
You want to come back? All right. So if you want to go to the next one, Ms. Johnson.
Sure.
All right. I believe it was 15.
I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. So part 3, guys. If you look right behind the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there is B for basic, A for advanced. So if you're advanced, you're able to do every single thing here, except number 14, which is military income and loss from rental property. So since we're here, how do you feel about that for this year, Ms. Johnson, the rental property?
We're supposed to be able to do rental property.
Okay. All right. So if you guys want to do the rental property, just please do the military. Okay. Because 14, if you look on the 14, has M for military right over there. Right. B for basic, A for advanced. Maintain. I see a few times here. I see myself when I take a look at this under number 1. And if you read it here, wages and salaries, if he has how many jobs did you have last year? I seen people just send me, give it to me in 2 W-2s, and all of a sudden they had 6 over there, or 4, or 5, and all of a sudden there I will email them. It's like, listen, you put that you have 5 jobs. How come you only have the W-2s? They're like, oh, I forgot. Oh, some of the other jobs were actually self-employment jobs. Then, you can also ask the questions like, oh, so how come you didn't put yes for 7 as well? So that little thing can actually help you find out, because this little number here after one, if you ask how many jobs you have last year, 99%, that number, it's always the correct number because the client did it because they know how many jobs they work. So you're able to find out how many W-2s they have it. Number two, tip income. If tips were reported to employer, if not completed, you got to go to Form 4137 advance. A lot of employers here in Montgomery County, especially in the restaurant industry, the tip income is actually, when they log out, they got to put it in the system. So it's on the W-2, it's already calculated. Some of the things we don't have to do too much. 3B scholarships. Some people receive the scholarships on W-2, which is the tuition payment, or they have the 1098T. Remember, 1098T, you need the 1098T to get the American Opportunity Credit or the Lifetime Learning Credit, okay? Because on that 1098T, there's information about the school. Okay. Number four, interest dividends, checking, savings, bond, CDs, brokerage. If you have a mutual fund company, are you guys Fidelity, Charles Schwab? If you look at it in the end of it, and now that you have a bank account with it, everything comes together. The 1099 INT, 1099 dividend, the investments, the brokerage, all the other forms you have it will come there as well. Remember, number five, refund of state or local income taxes. That's pretty much for people who itemize it. It's the 1099G. It's the little postcard that you get it. All of us will get a postcard within a few weeks from now, or if you haven't got already, but you should be getting a few weeks from now if you itemize it. That's the 1099G. Remember, it's 1099G for refund of state and local income taxes. Don't get confused with 1099G. That's the unemployment one, right? There's a big difference. The postcard one and the 1099G unemployment. Going back to the alimony, income separate maintenance payment. Remember, if somebody was separated before a certain time, the alimony income or any money they receive for maintenance payments are gotta be included on the 1040. All right. So if somebody said they're separated and they're legally separated and they're getting alimony since 2015 till now, so there's the alimony is probably income. Alimony income, not child support. Child support is not taxable. Whatever they receive, remember that. But the alimony income, or whoever's paying that, the alimony, they can put in a tax return if it was before December 31st, 2018. Okay. 7, self-employment income, right? 1099 miscellaneous or 1099 NEC. We don't see that much, but it seems that we're going to start seeing this more often. Or cash, right? So make sure we're going to do a schedule C in 2 days. So we're going to go a little more detail about it. All right. 8, cash and check payments for any work performed on W-2s or 1099 miscellaneous. 9, income loss from sales, stocks, bonds. It also goes back to the mutual fund. If you have a mutual fund, you're going to get a really big paperwork that you get in the end of the year. All right. Disabled income. All right. There's a difference. All right. Some people get disability. But it's before they get the SSI, SDI. Maybe there's some type of program like AFLAC, or maybe their company that they had it. John is getting it. I'm sorry. There you go. There you are, John. We've seen that a lot because a lot of companies, they have maybe you have some type of disability insurance, short-term, long-term, AFLAC, or maybe you work for a company that you became disabled, the company's paying you out. And we've seen that they receive like a W-2. We've seen some as a 1099-R. It really depends on the company. It really depends who they purchased from, the disability insurance, and how it was in structure. I've seen some disability insurance that people receive from private companies that works as a 1099-R, and they're hardly taxing anything. And I see ones that works as W-2 and they tax every single part of the money. It really depends how it was in structure and how the company did it. Right. Number 12, going back again. If you guys look at number 12 to number 5, all right, 1099G. Remember, one is for the unemployment compensation that they get from the state, and the other one is the little 1099G form, the postcard that they receive if they itemize and other things that they have to put in a tax return, right? Social Security, it's always the pink white form SSA 1099. Even if the person says, I received very little Social Security, it's the same as last year. Well, it's not the same as last year because the COLA just went up. So every year there's a bump up in Social Security. We don't know how much money they're being taken from Medicare. We don't know if any taxes are being taken of it, or if they without any taxes and they got to get money back. So we always ask for the form. All right, always ask for the form. There's another form that I've seen for the last 6 years being in this program. I've seen only once. It's called the Railroad Retirement Benefits. People that work on the railroad, and the RRB 1099. That's like the great unicorn. Everybody in the Vita program always talk about it, but they never seen it. We saw it. We saw it first time ever. It's really interesting paperwork. It's the same thing as the SSA 1099, but it's just interesting because we always talk about it and, you know, we study, but we never seen it, but we saw it last year. Somebody actually brought it in. John, you were here, but Ms. Johnson said this year, you guys want to do a rental income loss from rental property, please do your military. Okay, so you're going to be allowed to do it. Is there a, Ms. Johnson, is there a certain amount of income on it?
For the rental property?
Yeah, like, for example, somebody comes and, because I know some people always want to do a loss when they do on it, but is there a certain amount you want to keep at it, or as long as it's just a simple rental?
Well, whatever that income is, it cannot, definitely the income cannot exceed 57,000. So there is, you know, for us, there would be a limitation on it, you know, because some people only get rental income. It just cannot exceed total. Everything can't exceed 57,000.
All right. Put that in the notes.
Sorry, this is David. I'm late. I apologize for that. I have a question about the rental income. So the person that comes in doesn't have to be military, as long as the income is not, total income is not more than 57,000. We'll do the rental property. Is that
Right?
Okay? Thank you. That's all I need to know.
And we do. I think we do have a very elderly person, and the guy's retired, and he brings to us, and he pretty much does the whole thing. He just wants us to refile for him, but he does have that gentleman, the elderly gentleman that Nigel always does every year, that has a rental property in Baltimore, and he's retired. And with that, even that rental property, he's I remember he's owed like $25,000. Yeah. So for individuals like that, yeah, it's actually helped saving money, because he said he went to HR Block, they were charging like $500 to $1,000 just to do that, even though he did 95% of the whole. He brings the form, the rental properties already fill out, because he does it every year. But he said he went to HR Block and he gave that form because he's an elderly person. He did a e-file and he tried to do online, and all they're charging like $300 or $500. And HR Block was charging like $1,000 because it's a rental property form. So for individuals like that, yeah, definitely save them money.
Yeah, and a lot of people think, say if they get 55,000 or whatever in 50,000 in rental property, they cannot take deductions to bring it down. So with all their other incomes, that it comes to 57. We have to take the overall amount. So if they have 55, that's what we're going to take. So if you've got 55 for this, and you have a pension, then you're out of our scope because your income is too high. So you cannot, they think they can do deductions first and then use that figure, but they can't.
Right?
If they have rental income, is that are they showing the net of their revenue less expenses? Is that what this is supposed to represent on that line?
See what happens is when you do the rental income, you're allowed to write off, like repairs.
Right.
You can write off if it's mortgage property, you can write off the mortgage, you can write off the property tax, any, like you said, any repairs doing to it, maintenance, cleaning. If you drive your vehicle to go check on the property, you can claim the mileage. There are a number of things that you can claim. Because they bring us the expenses and they tell us what it is, but we just cannot. A lot of people, as I was saying, well, they think that they can take the deductions first and then take the amount after the deductions and use that as for the income, but we can't do that. We have to take the entire amount. When we're figuring out if you're, within the threshold amount for Vita, which is 57,000.
So why wouldn't they report it on Schedule E or Schedule C?
It goes on a Schedule E.
Okay, all right.
It goes on a Schedule E.
So this is from Schedule E then?
Yes, it goes on a Schedule E.
If you guys want to do it, just do the military one. Once they ask and we get all, because they ask for it. We have to send the form of all everybody's information. So to the RS as always, because they want to double check everything. But yeah, just do the military one. Yep. And everything. It's pretty much, I took that. It's pretty much just a rental property. All right. Number 15. And if you have any questions, great. Please ask away. That's the good thing about this sessions. So you can just ask your questions right now. Number 15, other income, gambling. Remember, you can only take the losses on the gambling. How much money? But how much money you won? Okay, only that. We had some guy that came in and he wanna. This is what I should do with Bruno. I mean, Johnson probably remember this. He was arguing with Bruno that he lost, I think like 70,000, and he only made 20,000, and he wanted to put that on his losses. And Bruno's such a nice guy. He actually told him, he was like, why don't you do like a sole proprietorship, your own company for gambling? And then he could do that. The guy laughed there. He wasn't pissed off. He was like, that's a good idea, young man. That's a very, he just, maybe he did that. Maybe he started his own sole proprietorship gambling company. Because Bruno was telling, he's like, well, if you had done a Schedule C and done this in the port of it, you could change it. And the guy's face was like, I didn't know that. That's very, and so he probably did that. Who knows? One thing about it, so it's a little off bar, but is it 2 or 3 years ago? 3 years ago. A gentleman lost a lot of money through gambling. Okay, this was actually in the news. That's why I'm not talking about it, because it goes a little bit far apart from our work. But 3 years ago, a gentleman lost a lot of money gambling. Okay, when you lose a several amount of money gambling, the casinos will tell the state. All right, and the state, we're gonna send you a little letter just to try to find out what happened. So people were really big gambling. So just let them know that the casinos will tell the state if you're losing a lot of money, because the state want to find out where's that money coming from, and they will look in your taxes. So that person got caught. It was in the news a few years back. That person was doing some malicious activities with the money, that was embezzling some money. And he got caught because he lost a couple $100,000 in the casino. The casino kept looking at it. It was like, this man's losing a lot of money. They told the controller in Maryland, look at the guy's taxes. It was like, this man doesn't make this much money. What's going on? And when they found out, the guy was embezzling millions of dollars. So they talk. The casino will talk to the controller of Maryland. All right, especially when you're losing a lot of money, and they will let the controller know what's going on. So, all right. Part for expenses last year, did you or your spouse? So this go back to the alimony. You know, oh, I think Miss Johnson left. Give me 1 second here. I go back and share my part. Okay, here we go. Okay, all right. Here we go, guys. Alimony. Here we go. Once again, if somebody has an alimony, if he has, do you have the recipient social security card? Okay. The reason is anybody who's receiving alimony or separate maintenance payments before that, the contract was finalized by the court by December 31st, 2018. Before that, it's still happening. They're getting that 10, 20, 30, $40,000 a year. The government wants to know, so the person paying on it can deduct on the taxes, and the person receiving it can put in their taxes. So we do have a few clients that will come in, and it's all alimony in their tax return, and they have the forms. All right. Do you have any contributions to your retirement account? Was it IRA, 401k, or Roth? All right. It makes a big difference if it was from an IRA to a Roth. All right. Please remember that. College, remember, you must have the form 1098T for you to receive the education credit. You must have the form 1098T. If you don't have it, you can do the tuition deduction, which is up to a couple $1,000, but it's a non-refundable credit. Right. 4, do you have any of the following? Medical, dental, taxes, mortgage interest. Remember, for us, the mortgage interest, it's a 1098. You must have the 1098 from the bank. Tell how much you pay on mortgage interest, how much you pay taxes. This year, if you look on the charitable contributions, remember, because as I talk about it, Bruno talk about it, and we'll talk about again on the 19th, because what happened to the CARE Act, if the charitable contributions, this is going to play a big role, because, you know, there's a lot of people that give money to churches and all the charitable contributions. They're unable to do their standard deduction. And remember, you can put $300 now towards before the line deduction now for this time, one time only. So it'll be $300 less off on their taxes, and we'll go over it. So this may help people for a couple $100, or, you know, maybe extra credit to them. So this is going to play, I think this is going to play a big role for some families today. 5, do you have a child dependent care expenses? Remember, we need the ITNM or the social security number. We need the bill. How much was it? No, for the child tax care, $24.41, and we need to know if it was 1 or 2 kids. Remember, it's $3,000 per kid, so $6,000. So even though you paid child care was $10,000, $12,000, the credit's only $3,000 per kid if you have $6,000 up for 2 kids. Okay. For supplies, use educator as a teacher. Remember, for number 6, a person, for them to be a teacher, they got to do 900. It's 900 hours. 900 hours for the school year. So if you ask them if you do 900 hours per school year, anybody who's an educator or teacher is going to say yes. I definitely did 900 hours for the school year. There's people that I wish this was more, because it's up to Congress, but it's only $250. The state of Maryland does as well, so that's the great about our state, because we do in the Maryland side as well. But in the federal side, they gotta do, it's gotta be 900 hours. Teachers, anybody who works, was some type of educator does it. Some teacher aides don't, because some of them just work once or twice a week. Some of them do work the 900 hours, but some of them don't. Okay. Expenses related to self-employed income, any other income you're receiving. We'll go over that on the Schedule C, which is class will be in 2 days. Student loan interest. Remember, it's the interest of the student loan. Give me 1 second here. since there's an internet shortage, so I spoke with John and Ms. Johnson, from one of the companies. All right. Okay. Student loan interest. Please remember, everybody, student loan interest is, we need the form 1098E. Or if they're able to go online and just pull up the PDF, that's fine with us. But we need to know what's the amount. I remember I had to do for a client when I did a quality review. I had to do the calculations, the parts of it. It's a pain in the ass. Just get the form, please. It saves so much time. And they had no idea what to look for, so I had to go under her school Bolsar and look in the system, and then I was able to find out. But we always remind them just the interest, not how much you pay for, but the student loan interest for that year. That's how much it is. Right? Since the Congress may pass it's getting steam and bipartisan, so there might be a student loan forgiveness for a few. I think between $10,000 to $50,000. I don't know the amount, but it's gaining steam for next year, so that'll be interesting. Health savings account. All right, remember W2 code W on the box 12 on your W2. If they're doing separately from their employer or with our bank, usually get a 1099 SA, or if you're doing it with a healthcare company, it's form 5498 SA. Health savings account, we'll talk a little bit about on Saturday. It's fairly easy. It's always been the same thing for the last few years, but it's also now part of the advanced exam. So if you're taking the advanced exam, it's part of it. All right. If you have a credit card or mortgage debt cancellation forgiven by lender, we need the forms, which is 1099C and 1099A. All right. So 1099A, it's a form that you receive if you had a house and the house was on foreclosure. Okay, it's a 1099A. If you ever bought a house, you guys remember the form 1099 that you got it. You got it for your bank or you got it from the lender. Some people say I bought the house, I never got none of the forms. I always tell them, go look on when you sign the forms, that form is there. Same thing when you got a foreclosure. Sadly, if your house was on foreclosure, you're supposed to get a form 1099A, because those are the forms that they send it to the IRS. And when you purchase a house, it's a form 1099R that they also send it to the IRS. So all those forms that the bank say people say don't have it, maybe the bank didn't give it to you or you didn't pay attention, but those forms were sent to the IRS. So you have it. You have a copy, or the bank has a copy, or the closing company or whoever did it, they have a copy of those. Okay. Going back again, I never see number 3 happening on our site, adopt a child. If you adopt a child, remember, the child will receive a ITIN number, which is it's like the tax ID number, but has an A for adoption. So it's the adoption taxation identification number. It's a temporary the paperwork, the citizenship can get into to the State Department and they can get the Social Security, but till they don't, and all the expenses they did to had adopt a child, it's part of it. So there'll be number 3. I think only once, but I didn't do it. It was probably Bruno or Viola back in the days. I didn't do it, but I only once or twice, and I think it was way out of our scope. So 4, have earned income credit, child tax credit. Was it disallowed? If this was disallowed, they'll say yes, and they'll tell us which years. Remember, the penalty now it's 2 or 10 years. It used to be 2, 5, and 10, but it's now it can be disallowed for 2 years or for 10 years. So if they're disallowed, they'll let us know. If they don't, it's going to get rejected and we'll get a notice from the IRS why it was disallowed. This is back again, guys. Purchase and install energy efficient home items. So everybody here, I believe I have BGE because I live in the other side of Montgomery County, but I believe you guys have the other electric company, gosh, I forget the name. But every month when you get your energy, how much energy and how much efficient you are. It tells you like, hey, you got a new window. It's an energy efficient. You got a new furnace. You know, you put insulation. There's a credit on it for energy efficient home credit. There's a paperwork on it. It's valid. It passes. It's a law now. So if people say yeah, as you can answer, it's a form. It tells you in the tax layer when you do the form, and it's a yes or no. It's about 3 or 4 pages. It's a yes or no questions that you ask the client, and those only questions like, you know, is the windows, how many windows you bought, all those windows, was a front window, back window, was for the whole house, and is it energy efficient, you know, the furnace, what type of furnace was it, energy efficient, was, you know, brand new, was more than, you know, you bought it because yours from 5 or 10 years, you know, it's tons of questions to ask because the credit, what's a non-refundable credit? Yeah. The credit it's like $250, between $250, $500. Okay, number 6, you receive the first time homeowner buyer's credit. So in 2008, President Obama had the first, I believe President Obama, no, it's not President, I think it's Bush. But 2008, the president during that time did the home first. There you go, Ms. Johnson's back. 2008, 2008, people that purchased the first time home credits, they receive a credit on it. So for now, every year they're supposed to pay a certain amount back. Okay. So a lot of them that they receive that credit, the first time homeowners credit in 2008, they will tell you, hey, I did receive the first time homeowners credit in 2008. I will, sorry, I just want to make sure, is everybody back here? Okay. I received that credit and the system will let you know. Okay. Some people do this, especially self-employed. They make estimate taxes or apply last year's refunds to their taxes. They will definitely let you know. There's people that said I pay estimate taxes for $1,000, $2,000, or you know, $500, and they'll let you. They're going to show you. So. Let me see here. Sorry. File, if somebody, number 8, somebody filed a federal return last year that contained capital loss carryover in Form 1040 Schedule D. Take a look at it. There's a situation, somebody said, I have over $3,000 on my carryover, and when I look on the Schedule D, it's like $50. And there's people that have a lot of carryover that, you know, sadly it's there's a limit you can do every year, and so that keep carrying over. One thing about it, and that's one thing, Ms. Johnson, we had actually read it on the policy, the carryover, the RS policy. Whatever is the capital loss carryover, you have to keep going every year. You cannot forego a year. You cannot tell to yourself, I'm going to skip and go. No, you got to keep going every single year. You got to take it till the amount is 0. So you cannot skip it. So we had a few people, 1 or 2 ladies didn't want, no, it was a big amount. It's still going to be years, but they're like, oh, can I skip? It's like, no, you got to keep going. You got to take it. All right. Health savings account, we're going to go over. The policy hasn't changed that much. Number 10. So 10, we all know about it, is the economic impact payment stimulus in 2020. Some people did not receive the money they're supposed to. So they'll be able to receive that credit when they do the taxes. So some people definitely going to be happy about it. And we don't, go ahead.
I can see it's blocked by the.
Let me get out of here. Let me do this.
You move up.
Can you see a little bit better?
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Wait, let me go back there. So for people that some individuals, I don't know what the system is. Okay. For number 10, some people receive it. There's individuals that say they're supposed to receive it, but they have not received it. The good thing about it, when they do the taxes now, they'll be able to receive the stimulus money. So that'll be great news for some people. We'll see if people receive the money they're not supposed to. But this is great news for people who haven't received it. So they'll receive the stimulus money.
Can I have a question?
Please do.
So like, for instance, someone say, I received the letter, but I never received the check. Letter, how do we handle that?
Well, if for people that say they received the letter, like the letter by Trump, but never received the check, they'll be able to receive the stimulus on the tax return.
Oh, so just as long as they bring in the letter, then we will just release something?
I was reading about it, and Ms. Johnson can jump in this part. They're supposed to bring the letter on it, but they say the IRS database, when they do the taxes, the database it's supposed to make sure those that really receive and did not receive it. I don't know. I don't know how sure the computer is going to be about it, but tell them to bring the whoever it is if they bring the letter, but they did not receive the check, we can go over it and put it in the system.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, there's cases of people that, as you know, every year a lot of people become expatriates, meaning like they renounce their citizenship and they still own property in the United States and they move overseas. I was just reading the other day that I think over 10,000 people that become expatriate receive the stimulus check for $1,200, and a lot of them, like I was reading with this lady from Germany that she was an expatriate over 10 years. She one day received this letter from Trump. It was $1,200, and she's like, I'm not even citizen anymore. I do have property and I file taxes, but like I'm not, So there's a lot of cases like that. So I hope.
Yeah.
Go ahead, David.
Yeah, my mother moved back to Taiwan. She got a letter from Trump.
She got the check as well?
Yeah. I mean, she has Social Security, so it got deposited into her checking.
Hey.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, even people in South America. There's even cases of people that got deported that filed taxes in 2018. They received a check they got a letter from Trump in Guatemala and all parts of South America, and they opened it like, I got 1,200 from Trump, so, and but a lot of people that's supposed to get it, they didn't get it, and people, so the system, and then the IRS said, I think like I don't know how many billions people that are not supposed to get it got it, and people that are supposed to get it didn't get it, so so we'll see. But yeah, if they didn't receive it, we're supposed to help them in the tax return to get them that money. But because when we were doing the taxes, we heard a lot of people they're supposed to receive it, didn't receive it. Yeah. All right, page 3. Okay, one thing we talk about it. Is it here? Was it here? On the form, and I think in our form, there used to be, no, there is a part. One thing, if you guys can try this year, and that's something for our future that we're gonna try from now on this form in this part says, provide email address optional. This email will not be used for contacts for internal revenue. If you guys can get the tax, the client to put their email, just in case, I think that's also one way we can also talk about our, because every year we send postcards to clients from last year. Just a reminder, hey, our program is going on. So we're just thinking about it in an easy way, because some people do like getting stuff in the mail. Other people just look at their email. So if you're able to, and just let them know, you know, we're not selling nobody's information, but if they can put the email here, that would be great. Presidential election, we know everybody that I knew put no there. If you like to, number 3, if you like to refund direct deposit, I think we only had, last year, we only have somebody that purchased, only 4 people purchased U.S. savings bonds. And yes, you can split, if somebody wanted to split for different accounts, they're allowed to do that, okay? So once again, for the direct deposit, sometimes the number is going to be in the system from last year, if they have it. If somebody don't have their account number and the account number and the routing number, we can always tell them to pull up from the tax return from last year. If they haven't, we can use that. If you have a balance due, would you like to make a payment directly from your bank account? Here's the thing about it, okay? I'm just going to give our story. And I'll let Ms. Johnson put her feedback on it, and I'll also tell you guys about it. We had somebody that wanted them to take the money out of their account. All right. The person gave a certain date, which is fine. However, the person had no money on it when the money was supposed to be taken out of the account. The federal one, you know, if he's supposed to take out money out of your account on a certain date, we'll take the money out of your account on a certain date. If you don't, you will not do anymore. You will just send you a reminder, hey, you own this much because we weren't able to. The states is different. The state was going to try it back a few more times. And as all we know that we are individuals that have bank accounts, what happened when somebody tries to charge your account and there is no money? You get charged a fee, correct? So this individual, I think the state tried to take the money 3 or 4 times, and he had no money on the account. So the negative became higher negative. So then he came in, complained to us, but you know that wasn't our fault, because you told us a certain date, you told us the amount that was supposed to be taken. It wasn't, you know, if you tell somebody to take money in your account and you don't have it, you know, it's not truly our fault. But once again, the state, we're gonna keep looking for that money, charging account once or twice or 3 times to take that money out of it. So in the past, I myself always, if somebody owns some money, I just give them the payment slips and tell them to send a check or go online, because the state of Maryland, anyway and how, they're gonna get their money. So you can call the number. They'll take credit cards now. They do online. You can go to the controller's satellite office and pay for it, or you can send a check or payment. They will take the money. The federal government, you just, you know, I think they also do that, but you know, it's a third party. So third party actually getting the money for the federal government. But I myself always give them the payment slip, you know, the voucher, and just remind them, you know, if you do the taxes in January, you do the taxes on February, you do the taxes on March, well, your taxes are due on tax day, which we haven't heard anything so far. So hopefully it's going to be April 15th. So when people are, you know, it's like, oh my God, I got to pay. Well, it's January. You have to April 15th. Here's the voucher. You have to April 15th to pay for this. Here's February. You have to April 15th. Here's the voucher. Here's March. You have to April 15th. So just remember that part. Somebody's, you know, like, oh, taking my account. I was like, no, you go. It's better you do it just in case, because there always going to be human error on people's fault, and when somebody else's fault, they always want to put the blame on somebody else. Ms. Johnson, any opinion on this?
Yes. I'm fine with that. We've had other incidents where if something goes wrong with that return and we have to correct something, then we have to change the date. And that's hard for us because we have to then contact the taxpayer, find out a date, because that date that they originally selected has expired. It has to be within a certain, they're not, the time frame. So we do ask them, we have to make all these phone calls, and then we have to, schedule another date. It's just too complicated. And then, just like Eddie said, they don't have the money in the account, and they get upset with us, and then they call back, and now they're mad with us, and they want us to pay their fees. So we just would prefer that everyone pay their own taxes. We will not, take the payments out. Yeah, please let them pay their own. Just give them the vouchers. I totally agree with Eddie.
Yeah, and that's an easier way for everybody. Going back again, taxes are due on April 15th. So you do taxes in January, April, March. You have April 15th to pay it. Remember that. So that's what I always tell people, right? Some people like to pay by credit card. That's fine. The state will take it because once it's already in the database, you can call the state within a week and pay for that because it's always going to be in the database. You can call or go online. The state will take it. The RS too. It's take a little longer, but it will be in the database. It's a third party, but you'll go straight for the money that you owe them. So, yeah, we just do that because it's easier, less headache for anybody else. It's feasible for everybody else as well. Okay. Number 5, did you live in the area that was declared federal disaster area? I don't think Maryland has been declared a federal disaster area for this past year. I do remember when the hurricane came in Puerto Rico that year, when the hurricane, I think Puerto Rico, Texas, parts of Florida, and we had several, that was a year, I think 2 or 3 years ago, we had several people move from those places and came to live here, move here to Montgomery County, Maryland, because they had family. And from those places there were, so that was different on their tax return, but not because they were living during that time for that year, they were living on a federal place, but not with us. Number 5 doesn't really work with us because, not. 6, did you and your spouse, if filing jointly, receive a letter from the IRS? We always ask the question. Some people is like, yeah, I received a letter from the IRS, and like, oh, what was the letter about? And maybe it was the return, or maybe they owe them more money. It's always then to let us know what was the letter about. Okay. And these are the questions 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. These are the questions that are in the survey. Answers to these questions will be transferred, collected inside the tax layer software. Sadly, we have to do these questions because in the end of the season, I have to give to our partners. I also have to give to Montgomery County Council and Montgomery County, the community, and all the other places in the county that works with us. They want all this information, so we have to give it. And the grants when we do the paperwork. So that's why those questions that you guys do, they answer, are a great way for us just to collect information. I also collect all the information, but these are easier for me, just collect everything together. Mm-hmm. Any questions or anything? Alrighty. This one is yours, Ms. Johnson.
Okay. And we're going on to the virtual model, again, with the steps of the operation. The return will be given to an IRS certified volunteer to be prepared according to their certification level. The preparer is given access to the return, and once the return has been completed and has a quality review, then we will have to deactivate that preparer. So we will activate you and deactivate you. All right. So if you go into a return and you see you can't get in it, just make sure you call Eddie or I and let us know, because we'll need to just reactivate the return. It's a very simple click. All right. All pertinent information needed to prepare the tax return will be scanned into the return by the site coordinator. Now, this information will be deleted after 14 days. All right. Now, the form 14446, which is the virtual Vita TCE taxpayer consent form, is a 2-page form that documents the virtual process being used, as well as the systems, equipment, or software utilized to securely store or transmit information between the sites. This form requires the taxpayer to opt into the process before their return can be prepared by the site. The taxpayer will keep page 1 of the form, while the site, we keep page 2. And we have the form in English and Spanish.
Oh, so this is a little bit of me. This is the new 1040, guys. This part is also on your book, the 4012. So this is the new 1040. This was the authorized version. I think they're voting today or this week, because as we know, Congress is going to run out of money on Friday. Something might, every time when they vote on for money for Congress, something always get passed in on it. So right now, this is the finalized version. We'll know if something gets passed in or not. Depends on Congress. One thing I want to share with you guys here. Look at this part of the line. At any time during 2020, did you receive, sell, send, exchange, or otherwise acquire any financial interest in virtual currency? All right. So this seems to be going to be part of it on the 1040, which is really interesting. Because before was just I think we're part on the Schedule D. So we'll see how this goes, and we'll do think we'll try to do like a scenario too, or maybe somebody that says yes to it. Okay. Tab B is just pretty much just the filing status: single, married, filing jointly, married, filing separately, head of household, first name, last name, Social Security. Once again, one thing about it, okay. And David, since you have somebody who's actually and some other people too, when you do the federal taxes, you can put your foreign address on it. Some people always talk about they didn't know about it, but you actually can put your foreign address on it. And if you own some money or the government wants to send you a letter, they will send you a letter to whatever is your foreign country is. Okay. So because we also had a question before during the time with a lot of people were leaving the country to get imported. They were like, oh, if I file the taxes, can they forward it to my home, to my foreign address, where I live in, another country? And the thing that we read, yes, they will send you the letter, but not every country is honest that you're going to receive whatever money you're going to receive from the federal government to your country. So going back here to the standard deduction, ways one thing, please remember, especially if you see somebody from tax return from last year's, you just want to check. Somebody can claim you, all right? Remember, you as a dependent, your spouse as dependents, or if you did a married filing separately, spouse itemized on separate return. Remember this part. And here you go for the dependents on tab C. You have the first name. Oh, trying to make sure. Oh. All right, here you go. Let's stop moving around. For tab C, you see the first name, last name, Social Security, the relationship. Remember, if you're a child under the age of 17, you get a child tax credit. And if you have a Social Security, the child has a Social Security number, they got a child tax credit. If you're a child over the age of 17, or a parent, somebody else that you take care of them, or the child has an ITNM, they have the credit for other dependents, the COD. Second part here, remember the left side, it's always, if you look between 2A, all the A's pretty much here, it's non-taxable part of it, and B is always the side that's always taxable. So when you do a lot of people's Social Security, you know, becomes 000 taxable, but right here in 6A, you may do the 20,000 and 25,000, whatever Social Security receiving, or when you do somebody's RA's distribution, they're getting 40,000, but you know, only 10,000 is taxable. The other 30,000 is non-taxable. Go back to the qualified dividends, ordinary dividends, tax-exempt interest, or taxable interest. So part A is always the non-taxable part. Part B, it's going to be the taxable. Wages, salaries, W-2 is always going to be here. Anybody has any capital gain, loss, anything in the Schedule D is going to be here as well, number 7. Okay. Charitable contributions. It's going to be on 10B. The standard deduction, the itemized deduction from Schedule A, it's going to be in 12. The AGI for this year, where's your total gross incomes? It's on line 11. I believe last year was line 12. So remember this part. QBI, if anybody has a business, they use the form 8995. Remember, for you to receive QBI, you must have a profitable business. Your business have made some income. If you have any loss, you're not gonna receive the QBI. And number 15 is your taxable income. Tab F. All right. Number 16 is the taxes. 19 is where you see the child tax credit, the credit for other dependents, the total amount. Where's their income tax credits? Always down here now. Number 27 is going to see the total amount of income tax credit. So anybody, this is also important when you're doing QR or you just have a quick look on it. Number 27 is where the earned income tax credit is. So this is a quick way to find out if that family receive earned income tax credit or not. I do that in a way sometimes if I see a family and I know they're supposed to receive earned income tax credit and all of a sudden it's 0 here, I go in the system, find out what happened. Do we answer one of the questions wrong? Why she did not receive it, okay? The additional child tax credit, the refundable part. The American Opportunity Credit is going to be here on line 29. Recovery rebate credit, which is the stimulus, is going to be on line 30. Okay. W-2 forms. So number 25, 25A, 25B is, if on W-2 forms, is going to, 25A, it's always the federal tax withheld. Remember that. So somebody always asks, hey man, how much was the total? The federal tax withheld is 25A. Any form of 1099s that you have it's going to be in 25B or any other forms. Okay.
Question on the rebate credit. I mean, a recovery rebate. Do we just enter a number when they tell us they didn't get it? Like if I have 5 people, husband, wife, plus 3 kids.
We're gonna go when we do the scenarios, that's gonna be part of the scenarios.
Oh, okay.
That's gonna be part of the scenarios. The rebate. I'm trying to see how many people. I'm trying to see because I'm trying to see the information they give out. How many private companies actually did not withhold the Social Security, Medicare taxes in Maryland. It's not as big because we are a Democratic state. If you're a red state, I think probably a lot because a lot of the red states didn't do it. They did not withhold from September to the end of the year. But we definitely gonna go to all the scenarios because I know you guys gonna have questions about it too, especially with the self-employed too, and with somebody if they give the $300 to a charitable. Any other question? Nope.
Oh, just to
Go ahead.
On the 1099s, everybody do keep in mind, it will be covered later on. There's a new 1099 form. There are two forms now. It's the 1099 miscellaneous and the 1099 NEC. So if a person is self-employed, they will be getting a 1099 NEC. It's a totally new form this year. Okay.
More forms, huh? Oh gosh.
Actually, that form would make life easier.
Well, I mean, it's made that, I don't know, I guess they thought it was gonna make the 1099 miscellaneous easier because they just took out that one box
Right.
and created a whole nother form. I don't know. So I don't know what their thinking is, but I don't know.
See, and you gotta remember, this might be the last year for this tax law. So
Yeah. It's on the election in Georgia.
oh yeah, gosh, so many things happening.
You know, Texas is asking their Supreme Court to avoid the election.
Are they
Crazy.
really?
Yeah. Wow, this is crazy.
Yes, this is crazy. Yeah.
No politics.
We all get along. We could have get so many things accomplished, man. Yeah. All right. So refunds. Same thing. This page shouldn't change that much, really. It's just the refund part. The routing number, account number. Some individuals will, when they send the forms, they will send last year's 1040. I myself have done several times and just asked them. It's like, hey, last year's for your 1040s, you had the routing number, account number. It's still the same. Do you want us to use this? And they say, yeah, just reuse the same number, which is easier for us. Okay. Amount you own, the amount you own, still line 37. If anybody pay any estimate taxes, line 38. All right. As always, you guys don't have to worry about the third party, the sign here, the pay prepare use only, because since we are a part of Vita, this part is auto-populated already in the system, right? Because we under the RS Vita program. Okay. They only need to sign it if they send in paper. They started to like, oh, can you give me the forms because I want to send paper? Just remind them they gotta sign it. If they send it without signing it, the RS will send it right back to them. And I've seen that happen so many times. Okay. I think this is it for my report. Yes. Go ahead, Ms. Johnson. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the return will be quality reviewed by a different IRS certified quality reviewer. The taxpayer will be contacted and informed that their return is complete. A meeting will be scheduled to review the return. An encrypted copy of the return will be sent to the taxpayer. The quality reviewer will call the taxpayer and complete the quality review over the telephone or through any other secure remote process with the taxpayer having a copy of the return in front of them.
There's a way, once you use the Montgomery County, the email database, you can send things encrypted, and we'll go over in January when everybody has their system. We can do a class about it. It's fairly easy. I know Ms. Johnson used it. Some people have Gmail. Some clients ask them to send the stuff through Gmail on their encrypted, which is, it's up to them because then it's going to them. So it truly, whichever the client feels comfortable with it. All right. So guys, once you've done the tax, you completed the taxes. In the end, this is the end pretty much on it. A few things you gotta do. All right. Once you done, you complete it and you're the preparer and everything looks good and you're like, somebody can go check it. You go ahead on that part. You just click ready for review, because that when you put ready for review, whoever's the quality review can just pick it up. For the you're gonna pop up for the quality review. It's gonna pop up the name and information so they can take a quick look at it. Once that's done, the quality review is just gonna put complete and it's gonna be completed. Will let us know that's ready to e-file. Okay. If we fail, if it's failed, there's two. I know there's programs when you do this and you fail and they send it back to you, but this is my opinion. If I'm doing the quality review and he fails, I myself will fix it and just let the preparer know what was wrong, then send it back to them. Because they're probably doing another case with somebody else. Especially if it's something like a quick fix, just let it know what was wrong with it. I know other Vita programs I have volunteered in the past that the QR send it right back to the other person, especially when the other person is already working for another client, which was like the smallest and easiest thing to fix. So, but that's just my opinion. And I think that's some Ms. Johnson, the other quality reviewers' opinions is. So, it's always going to be approved because if there's anything to do in the system, we can put approve and fail. Once we do the tax layer sessions, we're gonna go over. You can put notes in the system. So if I'm the preparer and I have notes for the QR, you can put a notes in the system and it's gonna be saved. And when we do the tax layer sessions, we'll go over. And we'll go over how to print it because there's a way you print it so the notes is not notes are not given to the client because you don't want to give the notes to the client because sometimes the client read the notes and call us back and it's like, how come? What is this going on? And we look and we had a client call us and it's like, oh, what is going on? You guys didn't know how to do it. Then we're like, what are you talking about? Then we saw that she was given the QR printout that has all the notes that the preparer put it on before in the quality review. We keep everything in-house. So I'll go over with you guys as well. There's a way to change in the system as well. Those for the QR or the preparers. You can change the whole 1040 in Spanish too. So I'll go over with you guys how to change it. The notes, when we do the tax layer sessions, I'll go over the thing because as I said, since this is the cloud, there's so many features on it that make things easier for you as well. And I know when we do the intake, we're gonna leave notes for whoever, let's say maybe John's the person picking up, maybe David, maybe Chai is the person picking up. And if I do the intake and I have everything on the system, I'll leave notes for her. Like I was able to get out the W-2s, all the social security cards. And when I put the information in the system, since the client was, it's already in the Vita system, you auto-populate it. So if you want to double check, or maybe I was unable to get the W-2 and this information to double check the client, I was able to get, to double check her address on the form. So that's the good thing about the notes. You can leave the notes for the next person, like the intake person can leave the notes for the preparer, or the preparer can leave notes for the quality review. Mm-hmm. So that's the good thing about it from our system. Yeah. All right, Ms. Johnson, I think this is the last two. Yep.
Yes, okay. The final authorization stage will be completed by alternate forms of approval. These will include the secure upload of a manually signed, the form the 8879 and the EL 101, or they can send us an email acknowledging that they signed the 8879 and the EL 101, or they can electronically sign this form with their name in the body of the email. So we have come up with a little short blurb and it says, I, such and such, give permission to Community Action Agency Vita program to e-file my return or to electronically send my return. And they'll send that back to us and we'll accept that also. Once we go into the next phase, into the drop-off phase, they'll be able to come back into the office and do that part. But right now, because we're 100% virtual, we'll be doing it either they can sign the form, they'll send the forms back to us, but they still have, we have to have something in the writing with their name in it and let us know that they have signed the form and they're okay with it. All right. So I think that concludes the training, right, for today.
Yep.
Are there any questions?
Any questions for anybody?
Yeah, you'll send out a recording, right?
Yes. This is recording, and I just have to put on the YouTube platform, and probably take me an hour or two, and I'll
Oh,
send
no
it.
problem, no
Yeah.
problem. I'm sorry. I was-
Also, for, as always, people that come to the session, sign up for the sessions, we also share this PowerPoint with you guys. For this session, as you guys saw, it's just more tailored to our program. So that's why this one is a little different than other people from other programs seeing this, because we don't know how other programs going to do it, but this is tailored for our program, how we're going to do it. Yep. Any other questions, Chai or John?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
No, I'm fine.
Okay. All right, guys. So for our part, I'm gonna be emailing Diane and finalizing the paperwork, and she'll be emailing guys to start sending out the email, and then we have like I said, just after I get my results, I'll be able to go to the office and start setting up your laptops. Okay.
Yeah,
Eddie?
yeah, I do have one more question.
Go ahead.
So what's up with the barber shop?
Which one?
What's up with the barber shop?
The barbershop.
Sorry,
I gotta get a haircut, man. Yes. Oh, you didn't see my hair before. Miss Johnson saw it. I had an afro. Like, I really had a afro. I let my hair grow like this big. You guys didn't see it. Miss Johnson saw it because my hair was like the Jackson 5 hair. It was really big. So yeah. My hair was so
Eddie?
big that my wife bought me gel and like the thing to tie on it. So yeah. Yeah, I'm getting my hair cut soon, man. Yeah.
Hey, Eddie, I need to talk to you about the credit, the CE credit,
Yes.
because I went online and checked, and I didn't see that I had received any credit. So maybe
Okay.
I'll send you my P10 information again.
Okay.
You can just check that.
Please do. Yeah. I do have the paperwork that I sent it to our SPAC, so I'll double check on it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Most definitely. Yeah, we definitely want to make sure you get it. Even though if there's something, we'll get the credit there. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions, guys? Or? All right. So take a look. I do believe we have a few more sessions. We have one. We have the Schedule C this week. And we also have the state taxes updates and HSA, and there's not much for the healthcare exchange. But we'll go over this weekend, and the weekend after that, it's Bruno's going to be teaching the updates. Yep.
And we do have the home office deduction, because since a lot of people are teleworking, they may be able to take that credit.
Yes. I'll go over a little bit. I talked to Bruno. He'll gonna go over a little bit as well, a little more as in detail. Yep. Because as Ms. Johnson said, some people definitely gonna get the home office. Yeah. All right. So is this any more questions? We all okay for today?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
All
Yes.
right. Thank you very much for your time, guys. Thanks to you once again. And if you have any questions or anything else, please email us. And we'll be in contact with everybody, as always.
All right. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye,
you.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.